Welcome, boys and girls, and welcome to the Real Talk FC channel, where we will talk about all things football, but mostly Premier League. And as you can see from my beautiful shirt, mostly about this great club, Arsenal, and also Manchester United.
This even more beautiful shirt right here.
Yeah,
Shout out to David Beckham.
Unfortunately, we do have to talk about Manchester United as well. But the good thing is that Triv, welcome, and you do know a lot about football,
Thank you.
so we will disregard the team you support for now. Um, we will start by looking at the new season coming up ahead, how we think will play out, what we can expect from the Premier League clubs, especially Arsenal and Man United. So the transfer window is open now. A lot of rumors flying around, a few signings. Particularly for Arsenal, we signed Willian, which I think is a great addition to the squad. And I think is going to really help the youngsters like Saka, Nelson, and Martinelli to develop into full-time Premier League players. So it is a signing that won't get you off your seat, but it's a smart signing. And the second player that we got in was Gabriel Magalash. I think that's how you say his surname. Correct me
That's
if I'm wrong.
impressive.
If there's any, yeah, I do have
That's
a few
impressive.
Brazilian friends, so it helps. Very exciting young center back from Lille. Deal worth around 23 million, I think. Well, you never know with these deals how much they really cost, but yeah. Please, I know that he's a young center back, and we shouldn't expect too much from him. But I think in the near future, him and William Saliba will do a great job. And
I want to
United.
weigh in. I want to weigh in on what you said about being a young centre back and not expecting too much. You know this. I've been saying this. I've been saying this for a while now, and I think that too much emphasis is placed on, oh, he's young and he has potential. I feel like there's some players do take time to adjust. Some players do take time to kick into a second gear. However, I do feel that looking at the track record of successful youngsters, I think at the age that they make their debut, they're already performing, maybe not consistently, but I think you can tell a lot from a kid at 21, and I think Arsenal, personally, I feel you guys will know very early on into Saliba and your Brazilian
Just
centre back,
call
because I don't want
Gabriel. Just
Gabriel.
call him Gabriel.
I don't want to massacre his name out of.
Yeah, I don't even think I pronounced it quite well, but I tried. But anyway, you were saying?
I think first impressions are lasting impressions. And I'm not one to believe in this whole he'll get better sort of thing. I'll use a Manchester United kid as an example. Angel Gomez, whatever it is that we want to call him by. There's a lot of United fans who were quite sad by the fact that he didn't sign a new deal, and he left to go initially to France, and then was sent on loan from France to the Portuguese second division. And I wasn't part of that, part of those fans that were sad. I felt like he played in the Europa League, and he played against teams that were not exactly of the highest caliber. And I know he's young, but I feel like you've got to show something as a youngster that makes somebody go, "Oh wow, that kid's got something special." You don't need to be consistent. That's not fair on a youngster. I don't expect you to be scoring 3 goals in every single match that you play in, but beat a man, hit the post, create a couple of chances. As an attacking player, do something attacking. And I just feel like with Gomez, the fact that he was shipped out to France and then immediately sent on loan to the Portuguese second division, I think that speaks volumes for where he actually is compared to where the fans of Manchester United felt that he was because he was a youngster. So I do think that the two young centre backs that Arsenal signed have a lot of potential. They're big, they're strong, they're quick. They're right-footed and left-footed, which is massive
Modern
in the
day football.
balance. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's massive in the balance of a team, and I think that I just feel that you guys will know fairly. I think it's sometimes as fans we hold on to hope that he's a kid, he'll get better. I feel that kids these days, deep down, the first time you watch them, how they're
No,
going to
for sure,
cut
I
it.
agree with that. The only reason why I said like give him a few years is to achieve that level of consistency.
Yeah,
Now we both know that fans are very fickle, right? And even
yeah.
I'm fickle at times. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not the perfect fan, but the thing is, especially
I'm the
with
perfect
Arsenal
fan, and
fans,
Lingardinho is the greatest
yeah,
player in football history.
this is about intelligent football talk, not shit. So please keep that to yourself. But anyway, my point, going back to my point, is that especially with the Arsenal fans, uh, I don't want to overhype or have. It's about managing expectations. There's a lot of fan channels out there, and one mistake he makes, and they're all crucifying him. That's what
Yeah,
I said. We need to be patient. We need to understand that this kid is coming from the French league, which is not the greatest league in the world, to the
that's an
greatest league in the world.
understatement.
Exactly. I'm trying to be nice here. You can see I'm really, really trying to
Yeah,
be
Farmers
diplomatic.
League.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
Killian.
I love Killian, by the way. You know that. So the thing is, it's about managing expectations. And also, you mentioned about the Gomez kid, who, to be honest, I don't know much about him. But fans always have a soft spot for homegrown players.
Yeah,
So even if he's an average player, especially English players, you'll think he's the next best thing in the world. We've had players in our team where everyone's like, why are we selling him? I mean, he's going to be the next Ronaldo, Messi, but that's because we're so biased, especially kids coming from the youth academy, and that's why you get a lot of United fans very upset when he left. And like you said, he went to another team, and they sent him straight on loan. So coming back to that's the two signings that Arsenal have made, and we will talk about later on about the potential signings for both Arsenal and United. But you guys have made one signing so far,
Donny van de
and
Beek.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know much about him, but you can give
I
us a
I
better
don't
insight. I don't.
I don't know. I don't know much about Donny either. I know that he's had two decent seasons. I know that he's rated as a midfielder who can play in a couple of positions, and I think the biggest advantage of having him is squad depth. I think that the Premier League is the toughest league in the world, and currently, if we were to lose Paul Pogba or Bruno Fernandes to an injury, Pogba's got COVID at the moment. If we were to lose one of them to injury, that then requires us to bring in Andreas Pereira, who, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the term potential. He's had opportunities to prove himself. I do think Andreas is a decent squad player for us, but if Bruno Fernandes, God forbid, were to have an ACL injury or a major injury that kept him out for 3 months, Andreas Pereira
That would
is
be
not good
amazing.
enough to play. Is not good enough to fill those shoes for 3 months. And I think Van der Beek is definitely a level above Andreas Pereira. He might not be the best midfielder in the Premier League, but he's got something. He's played in the Champions League semi-final. He's done well with Ajax, and most importantly, Man United for once haven't had their pants pulled down in the transfer market. He's come in at a perfectly reasonable price. United fans out there are going to be a bit upset with me, but credit to Ed Woodward. He's pulled off 2 deals for midfielders in Fernandes and now Van der Beek, under 100 million. And in this transfer market, to bring in a kid who's played, considering the fact that I think De Ligt cost 80 million from Ajax to Juve, to get Donny van der Beek for 40 million, I think it is definitely worth a gamble.
I just want to weigh in there. I think it's not the most, like, I mean, you haven't spent shitloads of money, but given the financial situations of most clubs during this period, during the COVID, I think 40 million is not as little as it would be in a normal transfer market. It's not ridiculous amount of money, but it's also not like peanuts, because other clubs are struggling to cough up even half of that, or will struggle to cough up that much money without selling any players. And I'm talking about my club, because we've always been like that, even without the COVID.
Yeah,
but I get that. And the thing is about the squad, like adding will be a good addition to the squad. Same with Willian. I know a few also plans of why taking Chelsea reject, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, first of all, he was one of the best players last season, so he's not a Chelsea reject. He actually rejected their contract to come to Arsenal, given that we gave him a better contract. But he's still experienced in the Premier League, and he can bring a lot of that. My point to all that was actually next season, because of COVID, all the fixtures will be a lot more congested. So squad strength will be more important than it's ever been, especially for United playing in the Champions League, also playing in the Europa League. So we have European commitments, and squad depth is going to be so important next season, more than it's ever been, because of the fixtures. I think they'll be like piled up like crazy within the next few months. And like you said, if one of the players like Bruno or Pogba get injured, then you have kids coming from the youth academy to fulfill those roles, and just throwing them in the deep end is not the ideal scenario. So definitely squad depth will be important. I'm going to quickly now move on to the potential targets Arsenal have, and then we can talk about the potential United targets. Sancho obviously is one of them. Yeah. We'll definitely talk about that. So also fans out there, Thomas Partey is a name we bloody read, talk about it every fucking day. Sorry, excuse the language, because it is frustrating. It is frustrating to constantly read that, and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere right now. I know we have to sell players and get the cash, and then I think for me that will be our key signing. I really think he will change our midfield the same way Bruno Fernandes changed the midfield. I know they're not the same type of player. Don't quote me. And I'm not saying that he will do what Bruno Fernandes is doing. But the way he transformed United's midfield is exactly what I'm expecting if Thomas Partey does come in. I haven't watched much of him, to be honest. But from the few games that I have watched, he is an absolute beast in midfield. He can defend. He can carry the ball forward. And we've lacked someone of that caliber to bring the forward, take it out from the defense to the attack, carry it forward. We do have Granit Xhaka, who I rate. I think he's a good player. He's not going to win us the Champions League, but where we are right now, we need him. And he's very good passer of the ball, but we don't have anyone that can pick up the ball from defense, take it to attack, pass it on to our attackers. Right now, a lot of games you've seen, we play long balls to Aubameyang, which is working fine, but that won't work in all the games. So that's one. And the second player is, God, I don't know how I'm going to pronounce this name, but I'll try it. It's Aouar, the dude from Lyon. Absolute talent. Again, playing in the French league, or as Trev would call it, the Farmers League. But he's shown in the Champions League that he does have a lot of talent and skill. Very quick player, passing, can shoot. It's exactly, and the attacking midfielder that we lack. Again, the price is ridiculous for Arsenal to pay 50 million. So I think we'll get either one or the other. If I was to choose one, I would go for Partey because I think Willian can play in that position. He has played that before as an attacking midfielder. He is creative. His stats obviously back that up. But yeah, these are the two players we've been linked heavily with at the moment. And obviously the Aubameyang signing, apparently it's done, but for some reason they're not announcing it. I don't know. But the way things are looking, the way he's playing, the way his attitude is, the way he's interacting with fans, seems like he's going to stay, which is, for me, will be our biggest signing this window. More importantly than getting players in is actually to keep our best player at the club. Let's move on to United. So, Sancho, talk to me, Tiff. What's going on there? Do you have any idea? Do you think you'll sign him?
I have no idea. I have no idea if we'll sign him. I know that we need to sign him. Whether or not it's not going to happen, we'll have to wait for Fabrizio Romano to give us those three
Here
magical
we go.
words.
That's it. Here we
exactly.
go.
When I hear that, then I'll know what's happening.
Yeah.
But I know that Man United need to sign Jadon Sancho. It's not a case of he'll help us. I think it's a case of, if you look at what other clubs are doing in the transfer market, I think that Sancho is the same as Van de Beek in the sense that if 18-year-old Mason Greenwood picks up a knock, we're down to Jesse Lingard and Dan James.
But you really rate Lingard. I mean,
to,
he's like the best player in the league, isn't he?
I'm really worried that with the turmoil behind Messi at Barcelona, I'm really concerned that Barca might come in looking to fill that number 10 shirt if
Sorry,
Messi
just a
decides to leave.
disclaimer. For any of you watching out there, we will be making sarcastic comments like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly
I have
that.
no idea
So
what it is that you're
please
talking
don't
about.
think we're deluded fans and we do know football. But maybe Triv hit his head, I don't know, last week or something. But anyway, carry on.
But so on that note, I feel for Dan James. I felt that he started the season really strongly for Man United. He was getting goals, he was getting assists. It was too much, and we should have known that it was going to be too much because he was playing as a substitute in the Championship prior to coming to the Premier League, where he was playing half the games once a week. And we've asked him to come to the Premier League and play 2 games a week. And by the time it got to October, Dan James was dead. And I think fair enough. I don't think that's a criticism against him. I think the Premier League, we've mentioned time and time again, is one of the most demanding, if not the most demanding league in Europe, in the world. And I think Jadon Sancho, if we lose either Rashford or Greenwood, I think that puts us in a very poor situation if we have to then turn to Lingard and James. And I also think it will benefit Dan James if we have Sancho, because he gets to be an impact substitute, somebody that has the sort of speed that he has coming off the bench can be a real threat. But from the start, against a fresh left back, against a fresh right back, that speed is not as effective. But if he comes on in the 70th minute and you've already been tired out by chasing Rashford, chasing Greenwood, it would be pretty daunting having to chase Dan James. I think he's one of, if not the fastest player in the Premier League. So I think Sancho is a must. Whether it'll happen or not, we'll have to wait and see. And then there's the rest are rumors, really. The Real Madrid left back, Reguilon, I've butchered his name for sure, has popped up in recent days. I think Luke Shaw is going to be the first choice left back at Man United,
Do you
regardless of
rate
whether
him?
or
Do you
not.
think he's because I've on social media it seems like it's quite split between the fans. I don't know, not even split. I think more people
Shaw or
don't
Regulon?
rate him. Sure, Luke Shaw.
I think it's fantastic. I think when Luke Shaw is fully fit, I think he's absolutely
But
fantastic. And
that's
I
the
think
thing. When is he ever fully fit? I mean, has he
so.
had a
Okay,
full
so
season yet with United?
I do think that he has been unlucky with injuries. So his biggest setback was a broken leg. That's not. It's not like he's got a hamstring injury like or an ankle injury like VP had in his younger days. You know, where he just or like Eric Bailly, where he's just got legs made of glass, where just simply running gets him injured. I do think that he had a really long layoff because of the leg break, and he had some complications thereafter. And at the end of this season, I I felt for him and for the rest of the players in the Premier League, not just Man United players. The fixture list was absolutely ridiculous,
Yeah,
having
it's crazy.
played that many games. And I think Solskjaer is put between a rock and a hard place because he doesn't have squad depth to be able to rest Luke Shaw, and I think overplaying him did contribute to him getting injured again. He is back fit. He is ready to play. I so to answer your question, do I rate him? Yes, I rate Luke Shaw. I think he is our first choice left back, and if he gets injured again, then yeah, definitely. I think it'll be difficult for him to get his place back if we get somebody like Reguilon. But my first choice left back for Man United is Luke Shaw. I think defensively, I think he's a good defender, and I think that's lost a little bit in modern day football from fullbacks because we all want to talk about their crosses and
Yeah.
um, their creativity, and I think Luke Shaw is just a good defender. And I think having him and Wan-Bissaka as fullbacks um, contribute massively to the improvement that Man United made last season in defense because they don't leave us as exposed as somebody like Valencia going forward, whose positioning was just he was a winger. So he had the positioning of a winger playing at right back, unsurprisingly. And then the final transfer target is unknown, but it's a centre back because there's lots of rumours that Smalling and Jones will be on their way out. But I do feel that the most important position for us is that right wing. And I think at centre back, if we're able to keep Maguire, Lindelof, and massive if on Eric Bailly fit with kids like Twanzibi and Fozume. Excuse me.
Bless
With
you.
kids like Fozumensa and Twanzibi as backups, I think we'll be okay. But let's see what happens. I have moving on from Man United and potential transfer targets. I have an interesting question for you. Now, you and I spoke about this a couple of days ago. So you spoke about Van de Beek and the transfer fee being 40 million in a normal window, being quite low, being 40 million in the COVID window, not being that low. Uh, what do you think about the theory that at the back end of this window, it's going to change from what is currently a seller's market to a buyer's market? Because currently clubs are saying that we don't have any money, so we're not willing for Sancho, for example. Bad example because Man United don't really want to spend money even when they have it, but we don't want to
What?
spend 120 million. Yeah,
Sorry, what? How
I'll
have you guys not spent money? Oh,
we have spent money. Our board spent
that
money
yeah.
very poorly
Yeah,
on what will
that's a
be.
different question.
Yeah,
But you've definitely
yeah.
spent money poorly. Yeah,
Okay.
but
So okay. So anyway, moving away from that, 106 million is being said to be too much now because we were affected by COVID. Blah 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 blah. the back end of this window, clubs, smaller clubs and bigger clubs, because we were all affected by COVID, are going to be in need of that money. So it's okay to hold out for 120 million now. What happens in the last week when you need that money to keep your club afloat? I think that it might spark some frenzy at the end of this transfer window, with clubs starting to be more flexible on what they'll accept for players, which might be why Manchester United are playing hardball for Jadon Sancho, because like you said, hopefully they've learned from spending stupid money and giving Radamel Falcao 350k a week. Alexis Sanchez 450k a week, or 400.
Yeah. Well, so wait, what is your question, brother? You
Do
went
you
on, but
do you
what is
think
actually
that, yeah,
what? Yeah.
from a financial point of view, do you think
Yeah.
that
I really hate discussing transfer fees and blah blah. I know I'm an accountant by career, but I don't want to be doing that when we're talking about football. I want to see what's happening on the pitch. But unfortunately, as fans, we cannot just stick to that, because there's a lot of other issues that go on off the pitch that impact what's going on the pitch. So yeah, definitely. I think a lot of teams are holding out. Like you said, they're not going to. They want a certain fee. I'm going to take an example like Atletico want apparently 40 to 50 million. I'm not sure on the exact amount for Thomas Partey, right? And Arsenal don't have the money, so they need to sell players. So it's kind of a cycle. So now Arsenal have quoted their players like Torreira, Guendouzi, the players they need to get rid of, to other clubs, and they're not willing to pay that. So I think what's going to happen in the last few weeks of the window, I mean, we still have a month left, so there's a lot that can happen from now
a
until
domino
the
effect?
yeah, exactly, a domino effect. So I think one club will budge, and when I think the most desperate club that need the money will lower the asking price, and then you'll get that money, and then you quickly go on to the players that you need, and hoping that they would lower their price too, and like you said, have a domino effect through that chain of transfers. So I think a lot of fans are getting impatient that, oh, why isn't this happening? But I think that this COVID situation has really messed up the whole window for a lot of clubs. They really don't have the money. The amount of revenue that's been lost because of fans not being able to attend the games is enormous. I mean, I know for Arsenal, we've lost millions because most of our revenue does come from match
Match
day
day.
sales. So I think now we will be able to get a few players like we've got already on a free, or someone that we had planned way in advance, and it's not that expensive. But for the signings like Sancho, I mean, yeah, the price quoted is ridiculous. But I think they might lower it a bit, or United might get desperate and actually spend the money. We don't know what could happen, because unlike other clubs, United and City, Chelsea have money regardless of the situation. I mean, look at how much Chelsea are spending. I know that they've had the hazard money, and they had a transfer ban, but it's still ridiculous that the amount of money they've spent in this window. Which
Chelsea absolutely robbed Real Madrid for Hazard, by the way.
yeah, they did,
If they spent
and
80 million, they overcharged them by 85.
yeah, but they've been robbed too. So it's like, I don't think Chilwell's worth 50 million. I like, a lot of Leicester fans don't even rate him. So, but they have the money, they don't care. And with that note, so yeah, so I think there's a lot that will still happen towards the end of the transfer window, which is a bit annoying because the season's starting in a week's time, and then you still have players coming in and going out, and it kind of disrupts the season and the squad. But it is what it is. We can't do anything about it, and it will happen. And talking about the next, then talking about the next season, um, Chelsea have spent a lot of money, and they've gotten a lot of quality players. I said in inverted commas because we don't know if there'll be quality in the Premier League. What would your predictions be as things stand right now? Right, as things are right now, for the top four, and the three teams you think will get relegated. I know it's a very difficult question, but I mean, we're talking football and we're talking about things we might expect. So have a crack at it. Who do you think will finish in the top four, and who do you think will get relegated?
I think I think Liverpool need to make a signing, because I think uh, Sir Alex Ferguson always said that defending your title was more difficult than winning your title, and I think that Liverpool will miss a trick if they don't back Jurgen Klopp in this transfer window. Even if it doesn't need to be superstar signings, they might just need one or two improvements in the squad here and there, just to bolster the squad, improve competition from within the squad. So I'm going to go for City to win the league. I think Kevin De Bruyne is unplayable on his day.
I think he's the best player in the league.
I
Closely, like attacking player. I think Mane for me
I
comes close. I think it's
yeah,
between those two, my
I'd
opinion.
struggle. I'd struggle to begrudge Kevin De Bruyne that sort of title. I think he is fantastic. Um, so I'm going to go for City. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool did edge it again, but I do think that they need to back Jurgen Klopp a little bit more. And 3, 4, 5, and 6, I think, is an absolute shootout. I think there's a lot of different factors that. So you've got Chelsea, who I think, as you mentioned just now, will their signings be effective? The Premier League has signed players. Man United, especially, has signed players that have done very well in Germany before. We signed Shinji Kagawa and Henrik Mkhitaryan on the back of German Player of the Season trophies or awards that they received. And look how those ended. So Timo Werner, is he going to be able to cut it? Is Kai Havertz, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, no, that's
Is
correct. Yeah.
is he going to be able to cut it? Look at what Andre Schürrle did, or what Andre Schürrle didn't achieve at Chelsea. So I think there's ifs against Chelsea's name. We spoke about Arsenal. We spoke about the two centre backs that they bought, who potentially could be very good. Is that going to be enough to shore up Arsenal defense, which has been shaky for a little while now, shall we
You
say?
mean like 15 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little while. 15
And
years.
and
Yeah.
and Man United are. I think Man United have a very strong starting 11. I said this to you a couple of days ago. If Man United were able to pick their strongest 11 for 38 games and 90 minutes every single game week, I think Man United could be right up there. They might even be able to push City and Liverpool. That's not possible. It won't be possible for them to do that. People are going to get injured. People are going to get tired. So will Man United be able to bring people in? So I will go City, Liverpool. I'm going to say Chelsea, United, and Arsenal will fight it out for 3, 4, and 5. And I think Spurs and Leicester will finish 5th and 6th. Spurs will be very
No, but now if
lucky.
I have to put you on the spot and you have to pick a third and a fourth, who would that be?
I would go for United and Arsenal. The reason being
Really,
is that
Chelsea will not
Chelsea.
you.
So
That's a
settling in the
big
Premier
call.
League
Mm-hmm.
is not for everyone. So even if Chelsea's players are able to cut it in the Premier League, I think it takes a very special player to step off a plane and just start performing in the Premier League. Gilberto Silva famously had an atrocious start to his Arsenal career, and by the time he left, he was probably the first name on the team sheet and one of the best players in that Arsenal team, or most important players in that Arsenal team. So I think Chelsea are going to take a while to adapt. It's not easy. They've bought what, 8 players, 7 players, 8 players.
Mm.
If you have a starting lineup that has anything more than 2 new players, it's going to take a while for them to gel. And in the Premier League, if you fall behind by 6 games, it's a long time to catch up. What about you? So I'm going to go Arsenal.
Okay, I'm not going to go
Arsenal.
in so much detail because we're running out of time, but I'll go City, Liverpool, but I think it's going to be really close.
Yeah.
Depending obviously on what Liverpool do in this transfer window, and I agree it's very difficult to defend the league rather than just win it. I will go. I hate to say this, but I think it will be United, Chelsea. I hear what you're saying about Chelsea, and I agree it wouldn't be easy. Not all the players they bought will hit the ground running, but I still think they have enough firepower within their squad to push them all the way in the top 4. And also, like, I don't think also at this point in time have done enough to push us in the top 4. We still need the players I spoke about earlier. If we get those, then I might change my prediction, but we'll have another show about that once the transfer window is done. And before you go on, I'll quickly say the teams I think will get relegated. I think Fulham will go down right back. I think West Brom will also go back. I have no idea. I'm just taking a guess here because we have no idea how they're going to do in the Premier League. I think West Brom will go down again. I have a feeling that Leeds might just stay up. I
hope
think I
not.
want them to stay up because I don't know. Growing up, I watched Leeds play a lot in the Premier League, and they were a really big team. I mean, they're a big club with a massive fan base, but they were a good team. The third one is quite difficult. I don't know about the third team might be a bit difficult to choose.
Do you think Villa
But
will be involved in the
if
relegation
Jack
race
Grealish
again?
if Jack Grealish leaves, they're going down. I think if he stays, then I think he might just keep them up. I have a feeling that Crystal Palace might slip down for some weird reason. I think I don't know. They seem like a team that might. They've survived relegation for a few seasons now. They've just been edging it. So, yeah. What
Their
about
luck
you?
is bound to run out.
Yeah.
I
Quick, we have
also
less
go.
than a minute, Nate. So just sorry.
I also
Bro.
go. I'm going to go Fulham. I'm going to go West Brom, and I'm going to go Aston Villa. Even with Jack Grealish, I don't think he can do it 2 seasons in a row.
All right. Thank you so much, bro, for coming on the show, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this the show, please click like, subscribe, and we'll be bringing you more content hopefully every week, talking about all things football, mostly also Man United and the Premier League. So take care, everyone, and see you
Goodbye.
soon.